So, the Denver Broncos lose yet another game to drop to 1-4 in the NFL season. What to make of it? Are the Broncos cooked? Is there any hope for the rest of their season? I don't think so. I think that the question that I ask myself is, after they beat the Chicago Bears, my first initial reaction was, why? You know that there are ways for you to allow for a team to have the advantage, and you can scheme up really vanilla concepts. Obviously, you want to play hard, but the win is just so useless. Because here's the thing: you lose to the Jets, you fall to 1-4. You play versus the Kansas City Chiefs coming up Thursday, and you're in potential to fall to 1-5. And so, what you're really looking at is you have the Chiefs, the Packers, then you have the Chiefs again, bye week, the Bills, the Vikings, the Browns, the Texans, the Chargers, the Lions, the Patriots, the Chargers, and Raiders. As it currently stands, the Denver Broncos are not better than the Jets. They're not better. I don't think they're better than the Bears. They're not better than the Chiefs. They're not better than the Packers. They're not better than the Chiefs. The Bills, I don't think they're better than the Vikings. They're not better than the Browns. They're not better than the Texans, who have shown nothing but heart all year, something the Broncos have not shown with a rookie quarterback at the helm as well, with a rookie head coach at the helm as well. They're not better than the Chargers. They're definitely not better than the Lions. I don't even think they're better than the Patriots, and the Patriots are horrible offensively. And then even the Raiders, they've already lost to. So we're in a situation where the Denver Broncos are 1-4. And today, the team loses to the New York Jets 31-21. The Jets ran their first offensive play of the year while holding a lead in a game. 5 games into the season. Horrible offense. Zach Wilson, 19 of 26 for 199 yards and 7.7 average for a 78.8 rating. Not good, but you know what won the game? The Breece Hall, 22 carries for 177 yards, 8 yards per carry, 1 touchdown, and the longest 72. The Broncos can't stop the run. They gave up 234 yards today running the ball for 7.3 yards per attempt. Even Zach Wilson, 26 yards. Dalvin Cook, 23 yards. The Denver Broncos offense was horrible. They had basically a 1-yard net rating in the second half at the start of the fourth quarter. They were horrific offensively. Couldn't get anything. Back to back to back 3-and-outs, 4 fumbles, all kind of stuff. They got a turnover. A turnover on a muff punt. And the Broncos tried to run a reverse. Samaje Perine throws it too high in Marvin Mims' direction, who had 2 fumbles today. And then because of that, the Jets get positioned back, and they end up getting a score off of that drive as well. Russell Wilson, 20 of 31 for 196, 6.3 averages, 2 TDs, 103.7 passer rating. But wasn't good. Russell Wilson had a safety today for holding on to the ball too long. And then at the end of the game today, Russell Wilson had a fumble off of a backside blitz when he was holding the ball, running to the left with about 31 seconds left in the game when the Broncos were in position to tie the game up. Jaleel McLaughlin was really good today. He got his first start, 9 carries, for 68 yards, 7.6 yard average on a 38 long run today, a 38-yard run for the longest of the day. He didn't get the ball enough. Russell Wilson, 7 rushes for 49 yards for 7 yards a carry. Jaleel was excellent today. Jaleel McLaughlin in the receiving game, 3 receptions, 21 yards, and a touchdown. 4 targets. He had 12 touches today. 12 touches today for 89 yards and a touchdown. That's just not good enough. He's their best offensive player right now. Jerry Jeudy had 6 catches for 50 yards today. Courtland Sutton, 1 catch for 13 yards today. Marvin Mims, 1 catch for 4 yards today. He was their best offensive player. He might be their best offensive player, period, right now, with how he's been playing, and didn't get enough touches. Sean Payton just went away from the run game. The game script would have allowed for a more cohesive run game to be deployed, but they just did not put one together. So this is frustrating because the Denver Broncos defense was also bad again, 234 yards given up, running the ball. They're sitting at 1-4. They're the worst team in the AFC West. They're the worst team in the AFC, I would argue. And yet, they are just in a situation where it looks like they're just going to continue to try to win. And everybody that can see this and watch these games right now, you can really just tell that this team isn't good enough. They don't have the talent. Currently constructed, the Broncos have the 3rd overall pick in the draft. If they lose to the Chiefs, Carolina's 0-5, and then they lose to the Bills, and they lose to the rest of these teams, then they'll be in position to be looking at the top of the draft. Look, Bryce Young is already in Carolina. This is the talks they need to be in. Bryce Young is in Carolina. Chicago, I think they should continue to build around Justin Fields. He's great. He's not going, let me not say great, he's been good. The last 3 games, last 2 especially, been really good. Build around him. Put an offensive line. Put some pieces around him. I would try to do whatever I can to trade up to that number 1 pick if I don't get that pick. And I want Caleb Williams. The Broncos need to stop titter-tatter. Like, there's no – just do it. Just do it. Like, we're at a situation now where everything about this Denver Broncos team is like, where do we end up on the draft board? Because, again, if you're a football team, y'all, and you're telling me to a Jets team, you give up 407 total yards. You have 3 turnovers versus that team. They dominate the play clock with 34 minutes and 36 seconds of possession time. And then on top of that, you give up 234 yards rushing to a team. It's just unacceptable, man. 6.6 yards per play for a bad offense, like a really actual legit bad offense in the NFL is unacceptable. And you won they had 9 penalties for 71 yards and you still lost the game. They were 0-5. 0-5 in the red zone for touchdowns. It's just unbelievable, yo. Like, again, Marvin Mims had the fumble to start the game. Don't love it. 3 points on the board right there. Also changed the game. You know, Samaje Perine pitched a bad ball to him on the fumble, but he has to catch it. The offense wasn't good enough. The offensive line wasn't good enough. Mike McGlinchey hasn't been good enough. DJ Jones hasn't been good enough. Zach Allen hasn't been good enough. Alexander Singleton wasn't good enough. These George Payton signings haven't been good enough. Russell Wilson's not good enough. And again, I can't even just really blame him for it. The offense was bad, period. But $82 million a year for Mike McGlinchey. And you can't trust him right now. Ben Powers, name wasn't called a lot today, which is good. Yeah, man, I think this is a blow-up season. I don't know what the Broncos are trying to pull or who they're trying to confuse, or they just need to just trade the assets they have that they want to get rid of and lower the cap sheet, build up the draft assets. That way you can make a move up if you need to be, and you just keep it pressing. Because right now, this is just not good enough. It's not, y'all. So, Swipa gang, let me know what y'all think about the Denver Broncos game. Thoughts, opinions, 1-4. Should they be 0-5? They got the Kansas City Chiefs on Thursday Night Football next week, y'all. See you on the other side.